This goes with what we've been talking about, coaching.
Yeah.
Like, how does that affect your position?
Well, it puts me in limbo.
Okay. What does that feel like to be in limbo?
It makes you nervous. I mean, it makes you nervous, but I know no matter what, I have options. That's a definite. I would like to get with a larger company because the larger companies are doing larger jobs, and those are the challenge to overcome how to get that job done. Big jobs come with big challenges. I would love to stay in a leadership position, but I don't want to stay in a leadership position that does not have a challenge that comes with it. I don't want to just a cookie cutter standard meal, go out to the job and it's like, yeah, we've done 100 of these. Let's just cut and repeat, cut and repeat, cut and repeat. That does not keep my interest. I dread going to a job like that. I dread knowing every day it's going to be the same as it was yesterday. Today is going to offer no opportunity. It's going to offer no challenges, and I lose interest in those jobs quickly.
I love that. That makes sense then why you want to stay with this company because it's bigger and you see opportunities grow in the learning, and you believe this is an environment that may help you do that.
Yeah,
Okay, you said that you don't just want stability with a company, you want a challenge.
yeah.
So
No,
that's something that you know that you like.
I feel like I learned from a challenge. I think everybody should accept challenge a little bit more because you don't learn anything as well as when you learn from failure. When you learn what not to do, you will remember that. You will always remember what not to do.
Yeah, and does this sound like you that you would like to find some stability in a company to be able to take little challenges, feel secure enough in a company that you know you can move around to try new things without having to start over every time?
Yeah,
You'd rather just stay with something solid so that you can test out even the formulas as you come across the different challenges. That would
yeah,
make sense. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. So you said that you spoke with the VP of the company you're working for. And how did you feel about talking to them about future opportunities?
In the moment, I will say that the leadership that I was talking to, that individual, he's good at his job. He knows what he's doing when it comes to talking to people. He's very good at that. So, in the setting that we were in, having a hard conversation, I definitely have a lot of respect for him. That's the first thing. I find that when I respect somebody, I'm listening for advice because I feel like this person has it to offer. They have knowledge, they have information. I left there with a good feeling and still some confusion because he showed me another route for project management education. Um, so that left me with a good positive feeling because it left me in a direction to go to get what I'm looking for. Now, when I say I left without information, there wasn't a conversation had of, hey, are you willing to travel? Kind of made me feel like walking out of there, even though he's willing to pay for me to have some classes right now, that doesn't secure nothing. So, either way, I've got an avenue that I'm going to utilize to get education while I can. So, in these next 3 months, I feel like I need to take my own time and utilize it the best I can and grab as much of that knowledge and that education that's offered to me as I possibly can.
Yeah. So one of the things I notice about you that I think is just really great, Adam, and one of your strengths is you seem to be very focused. When you have something in your mind that you are convicted about, then you are very focused. You are always moving forward one way or another. And I see that there's so much clarity to you about who you are and what you want, right? As you were even describing what you want for your future, I feel like I can clearly see which path you're moving forward with. And what you need help with in coaching is exactly what you said, just the confidence and the communication part of it, how to do that. So I love that because each session I hear you very clear with your vision. And so the part that I can help you with is right here. Let me ask you this. What would it feel like for you to present to this person that you are available and would like to stay with the company and would be willing to travel? And maybe give your reasons for that.
I told this individual, he's the vice president of the company. I told him that, and he asked me, "Do you have any college education?" I said, "No, I don't." I said, "All my education is in the field and what I do on my own to get further knowledge." And during the conversation, I asked him the same question: "Did you go to college?" And he said, "I did not."
Yeah, I'd love to get that belief out of your head because it's something that you believe strongly is something that you're lacking in. He started at the bottom
Yep.
and he didn't have a college education.
Yep.
So why should it be any different for you? It doesn't mean that you're behind and it doesn't mean that you're too far ahead. You're right on time. Like you're right on time to succeed. The question would be more, does he see it? Do they see it? Does the company you're in front of see it? Let me ask you this. Do you feel like you clearly have communicated to this company that you want to grow with the company and are willing to travel with them?
I believe I have. Yes, I believe I have. So I made it clear I'm willing to go somewhere.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So let me ask you this. What do you feel like you're lacking to be able to move forward? Is it just the educational part?
Yeah, because I do on my own a lot. I watch leadership videos, and every day I'm looking at material. I strive to improve my leadership skills. I see the two as being a separate thing. Leadership skills being separate than the job. And the leadership of it is the political part of it in a way. It's how you approach it, it's how you handle situations, it's how you look at it as a whole.
Have you ever thought about being a communicator for the two parts of projects? Like a position that comes in and helps bridge the gap?
I don't know if there's a title for that. I think what I should do is I should take all of these things that I learned like that along the way. I should be writing them down and then make me a book on it. And I should start doing leadership classes. That's what I should do. Just charge for that.
Okay, so there's a couple thoughts that came to mind. Well, if this is something that you see so clearly and that you're even getting to practice your own way of communicating between the two and bridging that gap, that might be something that you can offer other people, even as a book, even as just like class or course. And I'm just throwing that to the side for you to think about because you're an out of the box thinker, right? And what do you think of this thought when I say that Adam has a path that he's going? He doesn't know exactly what it is, what it looks like. He knows what maybe it feels like, and he knows he's going to get there. How true does that feel to you when I say that?
It's spot on. Know that I'm going to continue my path in electrical and leadership field. I'm definitely going to strive for that. But I see a point to where I want to build and build and build to where I have a commodity to offer.
Yes. Okay. So, in saying that, also, you had said that you do realize some of your strengths that you bring to a company, and you don't mind giving your all because you give 110% to whatever you put your heart into. But you also said sometimes that feels unappreciated. And so, when that feels unappreciated or overlooked, it doesn't feel good to you, right? So, then you feel like you're not being seen, maybe not being heard. And so, that probably feels like you're being held back from where you're going or being taken advantage of. So, with that thought, when you feel like you're a great asset to a company and you're communicating what you have to offer and also your ideas, because you told me you are sharing some of your ideas now. right?
Yeah.
Okay. So as you're doing this and you're feeling the kind of listening ear, but kind of not listening ear, what happens to you? What starts going on inside of you when you start getting a little bit of resistance to where you want to go?
I lose interest.
You lose interest. Tell me a little bit more about that. What does that look like?
A good example is here, we'll say 2 or 3 months ago, before the news come out, we were talking about hiring a bunch of people and stuff like that. So with that information, I thought, I don't want things to be they were before. I seen a problem before and I want to get in front of that problem and I want to fix it. The way that I want to fix that is I want to instill a leadership class from the lowest level of leadership all the way up that has a standard operating procedure that we all understand what the goal is. We all understand what is expected of each individual. I'm watching YouTube videos on how to put a PowerPoint slide together. So I start taking information that I know from courses that I've went to that I think is really valuable, and I'm trying to condense things down to like a hour to 2 hour course. And I was going along pretty good, and then the talk about it stopped. So I kind of just quit. Like, it's still on my computer, but I just quit building it. I gave up on it and I lost interest because while I should probably still finish that because it may benefit me somewhere.
So, how did you lose interest on a personal level?
Um, yeah, I don't know. I guess that's probably my fault because I do too many things at one time and something else took the hot seat over that in the moment, and that got pushed back to the back burner, and that burner got further and further and further back because it was no longer on a priority level, to where I just picked up a new project at the time and just picked up a new one after that and just kept on going.
Yeah, there's two ways we could go with this. I know with your personality trait that you give 110% to a job. With the goals that you have in mind for your future, how would it feel for you to give 100% to the job because that's part of your integrity, but with the mindset of just using it as education for this other job that you're creating for yourself? When I throw out that thought, how does that make you feel?
Say that again. I think you lost me.
Okay. When you know how you are known for giving 110% to a job. What if you just
Yeah.
gave 100%, or let's say it's 90%? I don't know. I mean, your integrity is going to be aligned with that. You'll know the number, right? And you'll know that whatever you're giving to the company, and when I say you're giving 110%, it's you're giving your whole soul. You're giving your whole heart because you do everything with passion. I can see that that's about you. That's part of your engine motivation. That's the gas that's in your engine. Well, what does it feel like for you to maybe think about the thought of giving a certain percentage to the project that you're on, the company that you're working for, with a commitment to give this a certain percentage to what you're creating for yourself, your position, the place you want to go?
I don't know. I'd have to digest what that would look like.
Feel it. Tell me what it feel like.
I would feel like that's another project. It would be my project that I'm putting together. So I don't know. I think I would just have to make a decision somehow or another to find the time in myself to do it. Because like my home projects, I'm very busy. I'm very busy. And if I don't know how to answer that. I just don't know. My
Okay, I
mind is
love
going
it.
places.
We're going to play here. We're going to play here because you don't need a physical project yet. I just asked you what you thought of the idea because watch this. What I'm seeing here is you're giving the 100% energy to the companies that you work for. You're investing and you're wanting to be seen and heard so that you can give them that all continuously, and that you can find the security in that to grow, to expand, to serve, to build, right? But in these places, you're not necessarily being seen or heard. And I'm seeing that, oh, okay, that's because he's looking for the company to rely on. But what if he used the company for education purposes, right? So that if I am dedicating my time to you, but I also have myself invested for my own thing, like, oh, this is going to help me for my own thing, right? For building myself where I want to land, wherever that is, because I'm making myself a commodity, right? The company doesn't have to see you. It's almost like making the business of Adam, the LLC of Adam, that's going to be unique and is going to present different things to a company. And let me tell you a little bit more what that looks like. You do not need a physical project right now. What we want to do is shift energy. All we want to do is shift energy. If you've got all of your energy going into one place, dedicating all of that and growing to the sole focus of that company, then it's taking all of that energy. But if you start to split some of that heart motivation, right? Some of that gut motivation, use it to distill it into the company, but at the same time, use it for the education for you, meaning detach from the need for them to see you, right? Because you're building your own thing over here anyway. That if you don't get seen or you don't get heard, or if this project doesn't get sold, that you use it for education, like you learned, and then you can see the motivation for yourself. Oh, does this work for Adam's company here? Do I want to keep this and keep playing with this? But what will happen is when you have a mindset of making your own company, you, meaning you're the commodity. It's the LLC of Adam. You don't have to have anything else but that. And what that portfolio looks like, right? That energy being now shared instead of solely focused will help inspire you to the things that, oh, I like this. I want this in my pocket. I want this in my portfolio because I like it. And so that passion will drive you to say, oh, I'm going to put in some time to this. And when your mind is a little bit more focused there, because now it's sharing space, you'll be able to use this platform for your growth. And I'm going to come back because I want to hear your feedback on that. But I want to say you are kind of doing this, but without the mindset. And without the mindset, the energy isn't there to keep filling this part of you in a more focused drive, right? You have a very strong drive and it's very solely focused while educating yourself. But I think the mindset's attached a little bit to a company being the answer or the place that you land, when you could be the commodity that goes in different places. It would be opening up your mind, your idea box to something that's not out there, right? And to keep growing that to make it a bigger commodity. What do you think of these thoughts what do you feel? I want to hear what you're feeling from that.
I've always been like, I should have either been a preacher or a rock star because I love being in front of people. I love working a room of people. And more times than not, I have tried to figure out how can I take my drive and put it in front of people? What can I give a room of people that I can sell, whether it's anything? I've like, my first mind comes to teachers. Teachers do that. They're in front of a group of people and they teach, they give information. I don't necessarily want to be in a place to where I'm going and I'm teaching. That's not quite what I want. I want to go many places. I don't want to be in front of the same people every day. I would love to be able to have some type of course to where I do sell my commodity, whether that commodity be some kind of strategic planning, some type of leadership class, some type of way for corporate to bridge the gap between them and the people that they work for, because closing that gap and helping those people understand what you're trying to get across can produce productivity, because sometimes that's what they need is a different perspective. And you're right. I see a company as the place to land all the time. That is what I see the company as a place to land, because I'm a blue collar worker. I've always worked in the field, and the field is where the company's at. And in order for me to thrive financially with my family and stuff, I need that company. But I would always love for the opportunity within my company to not only be the guy in the company that can manage the project, but to be the guy that goes and trains the people, train more people to train the trainer.
Yeah. Okay. So I've got a couple of questions and then I have an assignment for you, right? Yeah. Yep. Yep. I love that. I love that. Well, first of all, outside of the story, as a sidebar, I've seen you in action. I've also been on that same project. So I have seen firsthand where the kind of education that you would provide, boots on the ground, would be way more valuable than a classroom. So I see how it would have saved so much money and so much conflict. And in my time there, the biggest issue I saw there was communication. But it was communication from different cultures. You had different cultures, economic backgrounds, and all of that. And I saw, wow. The thought came to me on more than one occasion was, wow, all they would need if there was just a way, you know what I mean, to be able to communicate, because they're saying good things, but you can't come from an office atmosphere and expect these guys that are blue collar to come and understand what you're saying and respect you. They speak a different language. You need to know what language they speak. It wasn't just the Americans against the Koreans, it was the electricians against the people in the office. You're not speaking the same language. So I definitely see a need for it there, and I see that it would save a lot of money. But so that's just me tapping into the story a little bit, but I'm a coach. I coach the person. I don't coach the story, which is the circumstance. What I see here for you, Adam, is that you do have a commodity here to offer, but that what's missing here is the belief in yourself of how valuable this commodity is, right? Like it's something that's missing in the ratio. Instead of the world needs this, why they need this, and I'm going to get them to listen. It's almost like the world needs this. I know it makes sense, but it makes sense to me why they're not listening, because I'm missing this. I need to be more. I'm not enough of this for me to be worthy enough to listen to. But yet then you're battling yourself, because at the same time you're like, damn it, I know my shit's good. Like, so they should be, so it's more of an inner conflict than about people not listening to you. And from what I'm observing, that's why you're so restless or you get frustrated. Like you told me last week that Amanda helps to give you a different perspective when you've had a really hard day or a hard week. That's only going to work so long in a company, because you're going to try what she says. You're going to try going in there and looking at things in a different way, but you're just going to keep trying to make something true that isn't, because the restlessness is coming from your inner compass moving you a certain way. And you're tying it to a response from a company, from a view outside of yourself. Does that make sense so far? Okay.
Yeah.
So this is the thought. I want to ask you this question, and then I want to give you an assignment. And you don't even necessarily need to answer this question. You can answer this question after the assignment. So I'll do both and then you tell me, okay? The question will be, am I willing to give up the belief that I need a degree to be successful, to be heard, or to be seen? That's the question, right? And don't just give me the answer you think is the right answer, okay? And here's the assignment I would give to you this week. I want you to look up success stories of people that didn't have an education. I want you to give me 5 people.
Okay.
5 people that succeeded without any degree. Right? And you could use the one from the company that you're working now if you feel like cheating, but I'd love 5 fresh ones.
I mean, sitting here thinking about it, I have a couple already, like right off the bat. There's one that I'm thinking of right now that he's very successful, but he had catalysts that got there. it was some things fell in perfect place for him.
But isn't that what this person said over here in the company that you're working for, the vice president?
Oh yeah, I guess
And
you're really
also,
right. It's the same
yeah,
thing. Right
and
place, right time.
I just told you I'm a life coach, but I landed in accounting and then ended up in purchasing. I mean, I could give you all the details and tell you how it showed up, but that was doors that just opened for me. I didn't have to fight for
Yeah.
them. They opened for me, but let me tell you where it started. They opened for me because I believed no matter where I was going, I was coming in as a gift. And that's it. They were going to get something different, right? And they were going to get something great because I'm smart, I can do the work. But my extra is I'm bringing life coach too, which I'm sure every department needs, every company needs. You know what I mean? You saw what I brought. So I had to believe though that I knew I was smart enough, and if whatever I didn't know, I was going to figure it out. And then if it didn't work out, okay, it didn't work out. But I was coming in there with purpose. My purpose of being using it as a platform to study people so that I could serve people. So one of the things that keeps me solid in who I am and what I do is I know what I'm doing and my why. Like I know why I'm doing what I'm doing, right? So because I'm so focused on my personal mission, I don't need a company to align with that, right? I don't need other people to align with that. I need to trust myself, be open to feedback, be humble also, but only in driving me where I want to go, right? And I will look at constructive feedback and consider it and learn from it, but it's not going to hold me back from my core mission. So I've got that assignment. I would want to give you another assignment. What is, but you don't have to. This is just something you could ruminate on because I know how busy you are. But the five people, and I want them to be big people. Okay. Like I want some big names out there. The other thing would be, does Adam have a mission statement for himself? Like, right. So, I mean, you could pick whichever assignment you want, but even a mission statement, like, let's start building the company of Adam. I mean, Adam, and you have something different to offer the world. So it would make sense to me that you're not cookie cutter and that you will get very frustrated in a space that's trying to confine that by traditional ways of doing things. I'm going to tell you, I'm a great person to coach you because I've walked that walk. I worked at a university. How I even got in there, that was fun. That was another adventure I chose, right? So I got in there. Well, it opened up other doors for me. The doors will open. Doors just kept opening. And this is because I am different. I am unique. And you believe in yourself. And when you do, and that keeps building, it's just going to be like, okay, what's the next place I'm going to get to play in? Where am I going to get to bring in my value to a company that's going to be so lucky to have me? You know what I mean? It's not conceit. There's a difference between arrogance and confidence, right? The difference is the middle ground, like what you're describing, being able to take feedback, right? Being understanding that you don't have it all, but also at the same time knowing that you're really bringing something to the table because you do give your whole heart. The company of Adam has some real opportunity here to really make something solid and great and still be faithful to the other place. And then I feel like when we shift this energy, that you're going to find inspiring ideas that you're going to want to play in and you will have time for. Right? Does that make sense? Do you align with that at all?
Yeah, yeah. So yes, 5 people try to figure out a mission statement.
Yeah, your extra credit is the mission statement because yeah.
What is your mission statement?
My heart is to serve people and activate the power within themselves to prove that they have whatever it takes to get wherever they want to go. And people don't know their power. So I want to activate it as a coach in service of the world, like wherever I go, anywhere I go. Right?
I like it.
Yeah. Thanks. Thanks for letting me share. Thanks for asking. Okay. Awesome. All right. Have a great night.
Bye-bye.
Okay. Bye.